Well, howdy, folks. It's time to get the joystick into the JD 1050 and replace the factory system. So a little bit of thought, a little bit of investigation, and the first thing that I saw was that the standoffs here and here, where it gets bolted to wherever you decide to mount it, are not quite as long as this piece here. So what I did is I have some of this plastic, whatever you want to call it. It's actually a spacer for something that you use on a fire truck, but I have a couple extras. So what I did is I cut 2 half-inch pieces, and I'm going to put one here and one here. And I'm going to use 5/16 stainless carriage bolts, I believe they're called, to mount it. So I'm going to show you how and where I'm going to do this. But real quick, I'm going to use masking tape on the fender on the tractor. Some fairly wide stuff, and I'm going to cover the whole area. And believe it or not, on this particular valve, and it's the Chief, made in Bulgaria, awesome, the pencil fits right through the hole. So it's going to be easy to mark where I need to drill into the fender to mount this. And I know in one of my last videos, I had a couple replies that were, it's going to be uncomfortable, it possibly could be a problem. But if that's the case, I'm going to take out this lever, since it's threaded in real nice. I'll get a piece of all thread, and I will cut it and bend it, tap a new handle on it. Maybe I'll do an 8-ball. From the game of pool, billiards, and tap that to put on the end. But I will make this so that it's comfortable for me to use. But yeah, anyway, we're going to mount this today, and my new job is just like any other job, has got me going crazy, learning new software, and it's just, you don't want to hear me cry. But yeah, I want to get this going, get it started, get it over with, get it done. If you saw my last video with the gutted filter replacement, I'm very psyched that the hydraulics are working so well. And I can't imagine that this isn't going to be another major upgrade for the hydraulics. And I have a secret video. Well, it's not a secret because I'm about to tell you. About adjusting the pump pressure. Some research in the manuals that I have, and I'm an old Mopar fan, big blocks, 440s, 413s, 426s. Never had the privilege of owning a Hemi, but the oil pump had a pressure relief, a spring. You could take that bolt out and shim up the spring, and you could easily double your oil pressure. At the time, I didn't know, it wasn't super important, and I went like all out crazy. But it's the same setup on this, and that'll be a future video. But anyway, this is phase 1 of getting the joystick system installed over the factory hydraulics. And yeah, let's go tape up the fender, and I'll show you where I'm going to install this. Okay, so now we are out at the tractor, and I've taped off on the fender, and it's not to protect the paint or anything, it's so that I can transfer my marks where I want them, exactly where I want them. So I need to kind of climb up here. We're going to hold the new valve system in place. And I kind of already done this, so we're going to mark our holes being very careful not to move things around so that our holes actually line up. And the bolts that I have are just a bit long, so what I'll wind up doing is once I nut them in place, I will cut off the extending pieces so that they're not a problem. And we'll start with a small bit and drill a pilot hole. And we have the old trusty rigid cordless drill with the 4 amp hour battery. Alright, we'll pop the first hole through here, making sure we don't drill through the tire. That would suck. There's one. And I knew the angle would be bad. Sorry if you can't see. Now we can get rid of the tape. So hopefully I did this right. And we'll slip a bolt through the spacer that I spoke about earlier. And we'll get the first one in place. And the reason that I chose this location is I wanted it to be as close to the existing hydraulic hoses as possible, because I really don't want to remake every hose on the tractor. So a little discomfort for a couple of bucks. Yeah, I guess that's me. Alright, so we have our wrench. And we're going to get these nice and snug. And those 1/2 inch spacers work perfectly. It's not too much, it's not too little. It's just right. And I guess if you wanted, you could put a second nut on these bolts, or a lock nut, so to speak, so that they don't vibrate loose, which I probably will do. Or a little bit of Loctite, that would work as well. But yeah, as I said, I want to keep this as close to the original system as I can, so I don't have to go through the expense of replacing hoses. There's more than enough hose to reach the majority of these connections, and that's really kind of what prolonged this video or this process, is because I'm not really looking forward to extending hoses and pipes and so forth. So I thought about making a bracket, but after looking at it and really thinking about it, that's not necessary. And yeah, it's real close to the seat. My arm will be like bound up and cramped, I'm sure. But if that's the case, where I wind up using the hydraulics to the point where I do suffer pain and agony, I will take this out, like I said, and I'll take a long piece of all thread and I'll bend it forward, kind of down in this area, and then put a 90 on it, or 80, or whatever it turns out to be, so that I can work it down here as opposed to up here. But now we are bolted to the fender, and like I said, this is step one. I'll probably save this video and put them all together and make one long video, but for right now, I'm going to do them in pieces or sections or chapters, whatever you'd like to call them. And this is my plan. So we'll see how this goes. I can't wait to get rid of the factory stuff. Since, I don't know, a ton of videos ago where this valve blew out, thank God it's been working. And again, that's probably another reason why this video is taking so long to come about. If it would have failed, you know, what do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention. But mine's been working, so I kind of didn't care. But I know it's going to fail. I can tell just by the movement of the bucket and how strangely I have to move the controls. Its time is short. So this is the fix. This is phase one. It's mounted, and the next video I make will be hooking up some hydraulic lines. So guys, I appreciate your patience. I apologize for the delay. It is December 31st, 2022. Tomorrow obviously is 2023, January 1st. Temperatures here are in the 50s, believe it or not, for upstate New York, almost January. But you guys have a great new year. Be safe, and we'll talk soon. Take care now.